Welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to demonstrate how to create a PowerPoint so that way we can convert that into a video. Now most people have a PowerPoint ready, so I'll be going through the very basics of creating a PowerPoint, but at some stage you'll have your PowerPoint created and you can take the learning from that point. But we're just going to do a very basic PowerPoint layout. So here's my PowerPoint, and what I've done is I've created a Word document with all the information that I'm going to put into the PowerPoint on it, so that makes it easier for me to demonstrate, and I prefer to do my thinking in Word before I put it into PowerPoint, but that's just a preference, up to you how you manage your content. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, and I'll be doing a bit of cutting and pasting. So the first thing is I have my title page, so I'm going to paste that in, my title. And then, sorry, wrong one. Paste my title in there, and then just my subtitle. Beautiful. I now have my title page. Now you'll see I've got some notes here, and I just like to get my notes, and I just put it bottom there. Everyone has a different way of how they want to represent notes. In this example I'm doing what's called verbatim notes, so that's word for word what I'm going to read on each slide, but everyone's different, so please choose your own adventure on what notes you put there. I will show you some advantages of why you'd want to do this step, e.g. this becomes your transcript that you can read while recording your audio. That's one of the advantages. But now that we've done our title slide, we can now move to our new slide. And you can see it's a different type of layout. We can always change the layouts, but this is a pretty standard layout with the heading and then a body of information. So here we go. There's the heading that I'd like to, and then the 3 dot points that I'd like to address in there. And there we go. So reasonably straightforward. I'm only using dot points to convey my message. And where the gold is really in the script, which I've developed, and then I just paste the script into my body. I just space it out a bit so it's easy to read when I do the narration, and it's very clear what I'm going to read. Some people just want the narration without the headings. Again, personal preference. So we have that. So now we can go new slide again, and then we come to our rest of our text, and we can copy and paste that in as well. So we've got slide 2 done, now to slide 3. So all I'm doing is copying and pasting. And there are my bullet points there. I could space that out, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Beautiful. And then my narration, what I want to say in each slide. There we have it. Beautiful. And so I've got 2 more slides to go. And here we go, and I've actually just going to insert one there because I've done the wrong one. I've done slide 2, so that's some learning for you. You can embed slides in between if you like. And there's the key messages again, and there's the bullets. So now we've got our last slide, which is just a bit of a conclusion slide. And of course I've got to give my body of information. So there we have it. We have our slideshow. Now we could present this information in a lovely format, but we're not going to, because we want to create some visual dimension, so not only they're reading text, but they may be perceived as reading images as well, and they can just give it a stronger learning experience for the student communicate visually, and that way we're communicating a little bit differently. And that's why we're also creating video, because we can just give the information via PowerPoint, but now we've got multiple pathways or multiple ways students can engage with the content through the PowerPoint. They can read the PowerPoint, but now they can actually watch a video as well. So that is in the creation, and now we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to put some what we call design elements in it, but I'm not going to do the design, but if I was to, I could probably come up here, come into the design feature, and we could probably design, make it nice and appealing. And give me some nice concept. They generally keep it quite simple. Sometimes it's inconsistent with what they provide, but consistency, look and feel, see how that's a little bit different. Not in theme, that one's a bit more in theme, and so we could continue that whole process like this. And there we have it. We've got something a little bit nice with the colour, but I don't want to do that, but just showing you that it's possible. I'm going to use the Copilot experience using the AI tool in there to create the design for me. So what I've done is I've done a script before we got here, and here's the script. It's quite a lengthy script, but it's very descriptive because this is what I want Copilot to do to my design. So I'm just going to highlight that. You'll have access to this script if you like. It is on the screen there if you want to screen copy it. There we go. And then I'm just going to paste it into the chat here and let it weave its magic. Okay, great. We've got a lovely design, so let's just review it and see what it come up with. So, hasn't changed. It's added a few little words there that I didn't add, so just going to be mindful of some of these changes. It's got my 3 dot points there, which is great. And very troubling image, but overall I'm very happy with it. I'm going to accept all these changes and treat it as if I am happy. Yeah, and that's the key thing with using some of these AI tools. You do have to review it and make sure it's done a good enough job for fit for purpose. Okay, now that we've got our design, we are ready to do our presentation. Now, before any presentation presented to a class, I always practice. And so with my practicing, I actually embed audio into each slide as if I'm talking to students. So it's a great way of practicing before you present to students, because generally sometimes you do your slideshows and then they just aren't in the right flow that you want the information, so you generally have to change it. So hence practicing is a great way, and so I add that extra layer of practice by actually adding audio to each slide. And by adding audio to each slide, when you produce a video, then you have the audio with the video as well. I also add a little bit of animation to my slides, just to make one focus on each key point, so students don't get cognitively overloaded, so one point, one topic at a time. And so I'll show you how to do all that. So let's get started in converting this slideshow into a multimedia asset that we can use multiple times, and then of course students can, in multiple ways should I say, and then that way students can engage in multiple ways with the content as well. Same learning, but just different ways of engaging with the content. So let's get started. So on our title page, we've got a simple introduction. So there's 3 ways three main ways of getting audio into a slideshow. I'm going to show you the most comprehensive and I suppose a little bit more complicated way first, and that's using the record feature. So we look on the record feature and we're going to say from beginning or just from current slide. I'm going to say from beginning because that just happens to be the first slide as well. And I'm also going to turn on the Cameo feature, this slide, and that's going to take a video of me. Once I press record from beginning, and now you'll see my face is there. I'm just going to adjust my camera so I'm a bit more centered. There we are. And I've got my teleprompter here, so it's going to scroll as I press, and so I can read. That's why I like to have it word for word, and I want it to go a bit slower. I'm not the fastest reader, plus I want to read a little bit slower. I can move that image a bit later, but the student sees my face. It's nice to at least for the student to see your face in the first couple of slides, at least one of the slides, just to get to know you, build that little bit of rapport. And then it's got 0, but nothing to do. I'm going to record, make a mistake, and do it again, just to show you what that experience looks like as well. So I press record, and now it's gone. Welcome to the learning module, and I think it's a bit slow, so I'm going to speed it up. Oops, support universal design. Okay, no, it's too fast. Okay, too fast, and slowed down. So I made a lot of mistakes there. Just not happy. So I just press stop. It is going to put the recording there, so I've got to delete that. So what I do is I just click on there, and then it's just retake the video just on the current slide, not all slides, because if you had other videos recorded on other slides, you'd delete them. So I just want to focus on the current slide. And it'll start. Let's make sure you're welcome to this learning module on supporting executive function through Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. Executive functioning skills plays an important role in how learners plan, organize, prioritize, and complete tasks. When these skills are supported, students are better able to engage with learning and achieve their goals. In this presentation, we'll explore what executive functioning is, some common challenges that students experience, and how UDL can support reduce barriers and create more inclusive learning environments. And then I will just press stop, and that now slide has a recording on it. I could have gone to the next slide and just continued, but I wanted to show you a different way of adding a recording. So I can just exit this. I could export it straight to a video now if I wanted to, but I generally do that in a different step. So back to edit mode. As you can see, there I am. There's my video. I can play that video now. Welcome to this learning module on supporting executive function through UDL. And as you can see, I made a little mistake. Now I could go and change it and redo that take. And that's the beauty of just doing one slide at a time. Doesn't take long to get one slide done, and of course you can retake it. It also gives the PowerPoint a bit more sustainability, because you might need to change one slide in your deck. That means you just have to re-record one slide in your deck instead of a whole brand new video. And so this is why I love creating videos in PowerPoint. It gives you that flexibility and that adaptability as well. It just makes your content more relevant and current, and it's easier to update. Okay, so I don't want the picture there. I might want it a bit, maybe I just want it up front center. Make it a little bit bigger, balance it with the image a bit. Looks a little bit out of place, but that's okay. And then we come to our next image. Now, this is another way of adding recording. I could use this feature again. I'm not going to put my picture on this time, but I'm just going to go into insert, and I'm just going to go audio there. What I want to do is, just before I do that, I just want to get my script of what I'm going to read up as well. I'm just going to get my script of what I'm going to read up, so I can read that. There's no scrolling. So here we go, audio, and I'm going to record audio. And then I've just got the red button to press, and then I'm recording. So I'll do that now. And I'm going to leave a gap, a little pause between, because I'll show you a little step that I need to do next. Executive function refers to a group of mental processes that help us manage our thoughts, actions and behaviors. These skills help learners plan ahead, organize information, prioritize tasks, focus attention, and manage competing demands. They are essential for successful learning both inside and outside of the classroom. Executive function skills influences how students engage with learning activities and complete assessment tasks. Students use these skills when they follow instructions, manage deadlines, organize information, monitor their progress, and make decisions about what to do next. Executive function challenges are common and can affect many learners at different times. Factors such as stress, fatigue, workload, unfamiliar content, or competing responsibilities can all impact a learner's ability to plan, organize, and focus effectively. Okay, now I've done that. Generally find that the speaker will be up the top, so I'll just move it to a more appropriate place, out of the way, and then I can come back and I can listen just for that slide. Executive function refers to a group of mental. And one other feature that I like about this is you can save the media, so you can save the audio file and you can use it in a different format if you like. And that goes same with this video. This is actually now a video, and I can save that video, save media, and now as a video I can use somewhere else. So that's another handy little tool to know. Okay, so now we have another one. So I'm going to show you how to do the audio in this one as well. And you can see I can put the Cameo just on this slide. Now, when I'm using Cameo, I do like to use the record feature, and there's the audio here as well. So here we go. So I'll take the Cameo off this one, so I'll do Cameo later. So here's another record feature. This is record audio, and it's the same button, just a different way of getting to the information. One common challenge students face is managing multiple deadlines, balancing assessment tasks, study commitments, work responsibilities, and personal obligations that make it difficult to stay organized and manage time effectively. Students are often required to access information from lectures, readings, videos, online discussions, and assessment guides. Bringing this information together and identifying what is most important can be challenging. Many learners who find it difficult to remember instructions and key requirements, particularly when information is delivered across different formats or in different times. Maintaining focus during lengthy activities can be challenging. As cognitive load increases, learners may become distracted or find it difficult to proceed and retain important information. Another common barrier is knowing where to start. When a task feels large or complex, learners may feel overwhelmed and struggle to identify the first steps needed to make progress. And then I stop. Press OK. There's my little speaker. Put in appropriate space. One common challenge students face is managing multiple. There we go. So now we're going to go to our third one. And I will do another. So that's. I'll do another from current slide, not from beginning. And so we'll see the difference again. There we go. I've got my what we call teleprompter, and the reason the teleprompter is positioned there is because the camera's there and then my video, so when I'm looking at the teleprompter it looks like I'm looking at the camera as well. So and once you get good at reading a teleprompter, it doesn't look like it's there and just looks like you're thinking out loud. And also I have got a few words in there that I'm not going to read, which can be a little bit of a problem. It means I might accidentally read them. So it's always wise, I believe, if you're using a teleprompter, just only put what needs to be read and space it out accordingly. But we'll see how we go, and there's my speed. Universal design for learning encourages educators to provide multiple ways for the student to access information. offering content in different formats such as text, video, audio, or interactive activities, allowing learners to choose the format that works best for them. Breaking content into smaller, manageable chunks can reduce cognitive load and make information easier to process. This helps learners focus on one concept at a time and builds understanding gradually. Making learning goals and expectations visible helps students understand what they are working towards and what success looks like. Clear expectations support planning, organization, and self-management. Providing opportunities for self-monitoring and feedback help learners check their understanding and identify areas where they may need additional support. This encourages reflection and supports independent learning. UDL also promotes flexibility in how learners engage with content. Providing choices can increase motivation, support learner agency, and help students engage in ways that best suit their needs and preferences, or best suits their need and preferences. Okay, so you can see I went a bit slow. Maybe my teleprompter was a bit slow for what I needed. You can see the big pauses between points. Okay, great. So now we've got 2 audios and 1 video, but that's not the greatest place because it's over the words. Maybe I'll just make it a little bit smaller. There we go. Probably not the best spot, putting it right at the edge there. There we go. And the last one of how to do audio, this is a little bit more straightforward. You may have already done audio via your phone, or you've done it on a desktop or some other recording device, and so you just want to add the audio. So what we do is we come into Insert, Audio from my PC. I just happen to have one in my download folder, and there it is, the closure phase. So there's the audio there, what I prepared earlier, a different format, different way of doing it. Just move it out of the way, speaker. Supporting executive functioning is not about making... So there we go, so now I've got a complete PowerPoint with audio. I've got my points. So what I want to do now is we are converting this in a video, so when people come to this page it is going to be quite static. So what I want to do is, as I'm talking about the first point, I just want the students to see that point, and then as I come to the third point, then I want this to highlight. So we're going to do what's called animation, so the points are going to come up as we talk about it. This really helps students stay focused on what you're talking about. It means they're not seeing a body of text straight up, so it reduces a bit of cognitive overload in the sense where they just, now the text comes up, okay, that's what I've got to focus on, and so forth. So I'll show you a little demonstration of how to do that now, so we can get started. So in the first slide, I am not going to add anything really. It was only a short introduction, but I do want to do on the second slide, focus on these points. So what I want to do is I want to select all these. I'll select the one, and I'm going to go animation, and I'm going to click on the animation pane so I can see what I'm going to animate, and then I'm just going to say appear, and you can see that's number 2, and I'm going to say appear, and it's number 3, which we don't want at this stage, but we'll just accept it. So there we go. So 3 transition points. So what would that look like? I'll just show you as you're doing it. Welcome to this learning module. It's actually got the audio with it. So you can see there, if I do my cursor, executive function refers to a group of mental processes that help us manage because I have the audio in, it's actually playing the audio, but that's okay. But now you can see that each time I press the spacebar at each point. But I want to time that point right to the audio. So what we've got the recording up there, so that comes up first, and then once I press the spacebar, then that and that. But I need the system to do it for me because I'm actually making a video, so the video has to know when to make that happen. So I'm going to highlight them all. Got the pen, highlight them all, and then I'm going to say with previous. So now they've all got 0, so they're all going to start at the same time. The audio is going to start and then that one. But in this one, I want it to start a little bit later. And what later? When I start talking about that point. So here, appear, so when I say executive function. So I'm just going to press play here until I get to that point. Executive function skills influences how students engage with learning activity, learning both inside and outside of the classroom. So that's when I stopped, and I stopped at 22 seconds. So I'm just going to put 22 seconds here. We'll delete it later, and then we'll go back to the video. And at 30 tasks. Students use these skills when they follow instructions, manage deadlines, organize information, monitor their progress, and make decisions about what to do next. Press stop, find out where that ended. That's 42 seconds. And I just put 42 there. 72, 42. 42. Beautiful. There we go. So I've got my times there. I want that at 22 and that's at 42. And that's all I need for that. Okay, so I go into my first one. I want that to come up at the same time. So that's 0 there. That's what's highlighting there. I want this to come at 22 seconds. So I come up here and I go timing, delay for 22 seconds. And then stop. And then this one is delay, timing, delay for 42 seconds. Okay. And so stop. Okay. So let's start over. Let's just see that play out. So, executive function refers to a group of mental processes that help us manage our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. These skills help learners plan ahead, organize information, prioritize tasks, focus attention, and manage competing demands. They are essential for successful learning both inside and outside of the classroom. Executive function skills influences how students engage with learning activities and complete assessment tasks. Students use these skills when they follow instructions, manage deadlines, organize information, monitor their progress, and make decisions about what to do next. Executive function challenges are common and can affect many learners at different times. Factors such as stress, fatigue, workload, unfamiliar content, or competing responsibilities can all impact a learner's ability to plan, organize, and focus effectively. Voila, and now that's finished. So you can see the complete workflow. I didn't have to press any buttons, it just did it naturally, and I will have to remove my numbers. So there we go, just remove my numbers so you don't have to see that. And now I'm going to do it to the next slideshow, the exact same principle. So we'll do it. We'll go into our, there we can highlight them all. I'm holding down the control button and then I'm clicking. I'm going animation pan, I'm going add, and I'm going to appear. So they're all going to appear at the same time. I do have an audio there, so I'm going to click up there, I'm going to control A. I'm going to right click, I'm going to say start on with previous. So they're all going to be 0 now. So they are all 0. You can see the 0 once the PowerPoint starts, 0 is going to start straight away, and then the rest are going to open up at the same time. But which is a problem. We don't want them all to open up at the same time. We want them to open up gradually. So I've got to figure out at what time they need to be opened up. So I'll press on the play button. I want this one, first one, to start straight away. So that's fine. one common challenge: time effectively. So there's the gap, or the pause, effectively. And so there we are. It's at 16:90, so I'm going to say 17. I'm going to put the 17 there because that's when I want this one to start, at 17 seconds. Just a placeholder for now. And let's go to 17 seconds. I'll do it 26 and see how we go. And identifying what is most important can be challenging. Okay, challenging was the last word there, and it was at 30 seconds. Okay. 40 seconds. Maintaining focus during lengthy activities can be challenging, even across different formats or in different times. 5 different times there. I'm going to get there, so it's 41 seconds. And the last one. Become distracted or find it difficult to proceed and retain important information. Okay, there we have it. So that's at 58, so we'll do 59. There we go. So okay, so now we have our video, we've got our points, and now we'll set it up. So the first one is we want it to come straight away, so we keep that one 0, we don't delay any time. That's our second one, which is here, which we then do timing, and we do our 17%, sorry, 17 seconds, and just stop that. And then we do our next one, timing, delay 30 seconds, stop, timing 41 seconds, stop, timing 59 seconds. So that is all set. If I was to play this one now, you'd see that unfold. And now we move to the next one. So again, now we've got a video there, plus we want the points to come up at the same time, or same time as I'm talking. So we go through the process again. So this time it's a video. On click, so I'm going to just do the text first. And then I'm going to go add and appear, and they should all appear at the same time. I'm going to go to the video up there, and then I'm going to go Control A, and then I'm going to, again with previous, so it should all start at the same time. Beautiful. Okay, now I've got to get my timings right, so I press play for the first text. Universal design for video, audio, or interactive activities, allowing learners to choose the format that works best for them. Yep, so there we are. 18 seconds there. Don't need to do the first one. It's the second one where I want to start at 18 seconds. And then next to the third, so just Universal design for learning encourages educators to provide multiple, reduce cognitive load, and make information easier to process. This helps learners focus on one concept at a time and builds understanding gradually. Gradually, got my word there. 38 seconds. And now let's do the next one. Universal design for learning and what they are working towards and what success looks like. clear expectations, support planning, organization, and self-management. Self-management, there we are. That one is at 1 minute and 2. So 1 minute and 2 is 62 seconds. Universal design for learning encourages it. Okay, so this is a good example of some of the limitations of this narration is that it only allows a 60-second delay. So I'm caught between a little bit of rock and a hard place. I've got two options. I can then duplicate this slide and reduce the audio, or I can just show those two coming up together, which might create a little bit of confusion, just depending on your workflow and what's really important to you, because I could duplicate this side, start again, go to the next one, and then not miss a beat. So what we'll do is we will duplicate the slide so you can see what that would look like, but as I said, we have a limitation where we can't put this one, so I'll put the timings in still. That was at 62 seconds, and then oops, and I'll do the last one where they may need additional support. This encourages reflection and supports independent learning. Okay, independent learning there. So this is where I want the last one to come. Oh, forgot, didn't get the timing again. So 6:02. Additional support. This encourages reflection and supports independent learning. Okay, we want 1 minute 22, so there we have it. 122, which is 60 plus 22 is 82 seconds. Okay, we're not going to use those 82 seconds, but just a gauge. Okay, so what the problem is, we can't, that one has to display at 62, so we're going to have to move these two down a notch. So this is how we will do it. We will duplicate this slide. We have the same slide. Okay. This one is not going to display at all. It's not going to come up, so we're going to delete it because we don't need it to display there. And we don't need it to display there. It's essentially going to be blank because it's going to appear when we get to this one. There we go. Oops, I've gone around the wrong way. So I'm just going to move them around. There we go. We're in the right order. Okay. This one doesn't actually need to be there. So we can remove it because we just want that just to be there naturally. Remove. Remove. So we only want those two. So these are the two we want animated. We still want them to come in after the fact. Okay, now audio. Audio is going to be out of whack. We need it to start at 62. So this is where we can come in here. And we can edit the audio if we wish. Just get it come in here. Playback, and we can trim video. Where do you want to trim it? We want to trim it at 62. 102. I'll press play. Self-management. There we want it. That's where we want to start. So that's where we are trimming it. Just a bit more there. Providing opportunities for self-monitoring and feedback. There we go, so it starts with provide, so now that's going to start there. We've got the video there starting at 0, so starting straight away when the slide goes. These are going to start at a different time. They're going to be, once that video starts, then the text will start, and so we don't need to adjust this one anymore because it's going to come on at the same time. So we can go timing, and we don't even take 60, we take it out, and we press OK. Just press 0, and we stop. And this one now, it's not 60, so it's actually 20 because we're going to take 60 off because we started at 62, so we can take 62 off. So this becomes 20. And there we have it. We have solved our length issue. So we've got a slideshow that's going to have 3. It's going to present, and then it's going to stop, and then it's going to pause and go to the next slide, and then it's going to have them re-displayed because that's what happened there. We went through them, and then it's going to continue to do the last 2. A little bit of a workaround, some of the limitations of the software because it's 60 seconds, so it's encouraging you not to talk for longer than 60 seconds per slide potentially, or we have to create multiple slides. I mean, this is only a 5 slide show. You might end up with 20 or 30, and just keeping it roughly to a minute if you want to create that transition and animation effect. So just something to keep in mind. So beautiful, we have done our slides, and we don't need to animate that, but we could again animate based on the picture coming in second and the text coming in first. So we could go animation, animation pan, add animation. Again, we can do some bit fancier. I don't want to go too crazy with design. It's supposed to be effective, not just for flashy. It serves a purpose. We want the image, the text to come in. I want this to come in first, for example. Appear. That doesn't want that. We want this to come in appear. And it's out of order, so we go to Pam, and we go, which one do we want? We want the picture to come in last. We want the text box. We want number 2. There we go. So that's 2, 3, 4. And then we can time that to the video if we wish. So we can go, okay, let's, if you wish, or we can just, on the press of the key, it then does what it needs to do. So we have some flexibility there. But we'll leave it as is. The video is going to come on first with the closure. Then that's going to appear, that's going to appear, and that's going to appear. So that is the final demonstration of embedding audio. You've learnt a few things about embedding audio in a variety of different ways through the record feature, through the pressing the record, or from beginning of slide, 2 different ways of adding audio. And we've also got the insert function, which is adding audio through the voice, and also then adding a pre-recorded audio. So you've got a really rich experience of a variety of ways of adding audio. And then just to give it that little bit of polish and that little bit of focus for the student, we've added some transitions in. There's also animation, so that students only read that text and only experience that text while you're talking, and then as you progress you're giving the next bit of content. Just really helps with students' cognitive overload, gives them something to focus on, and just really supports learning in that way. So it's a little bit of effort, but now you have a wonderful asset that now we are going to convert into a video, and that video is going to be able to give you a bit more opportunity to provide the information in different in different ways, so that the students can digest information in different ways, which hopefully will support their learning in a variety of ways. We're still providing the learning, but there's different pathways now for the student to take. And so our final step is to convert this to a video. So one thing we must do is save, which I didn't do a very good job of at the beginning. Just give it an appropriate name. That wasn't a great name, presentation 1. And the next thing is to go File, Export, and we've got Create Video, and then we go and create the video, and then again we'll give it another name. We'll go and export. So as we're waiting for it, you can see down the bottom there that it's moving quite fast, and it depends on your computer processing power as well. So this video becomes really powerful now, because now we can put it into our learning management system. Some people might put it on YouTube so students can access it. So as an educator now, you've got this PowerPoint which you can share with the students. You put some rich notes in there so they can also read the notes as well, because the PowerPoint slides itself are very summary and might not make sense, so you've got some bit more detailed notes. But now the students can also now engage with the video, so you've got PowerPoint, notes and a video, and students now have that choice of how they're going to interact with the content, which makes it a very powerful and well-designed presentation. So I've got my video now. It's my choice of how I'm going to store this video. As I said, you could put it up on YouTube. You can put it in Echo 360, which is our learning management video system, and we can also put it up on Stream, which is Microsoft Office 365. But preferably it has to be a video platform where you can share the video with students through your learning management system. Hence Echo 360 is our preferred option, and that it also produces transcripts and closed captions so that people can read and watch the video at the same time. So let's just have a look at the video quickly. So here we have the video output's done. There it is. Welcome to this learning module on supporting executive function through Universal Design for Learning, or UDL. Executive functioning skills plays an important role in how learners... So there you go, I've got a 6-minute video on just that topic. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how to upload the video into your Stream account. Generally you're using this as an internal process where you might be sharing it with your team. So I'm going to go into my software, going to go into my Stream account, and here I have the opportunity to add files, pass files, you can see there. So I'm just going to add the file. It's giving you a quick access of how to get there. This is not what I want, so I'm going to have to upload a video instead. I can then drag. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Click on there, and there is my presentation. Upload. It will then upload. I'm going to wait for it because there's a really important step that I need to do. I'm going to press open. There is my video, ready for all to see. Welcome to this. Pause that. But what I want to do is video settings and transcript and generate. And there we have it. So it'll take 4 minutes to get my transcript, and it's the transcript that's the gold. Even though we have the notes in our PowerPoint, I know a lot of people go off script and don't really follow the script, and they add a lot more content and a lot of voice, and especially if you're doing a lecture, you might be speaking for an hour. And it's great to then have a transcript that we can look at, and now we can do some really cool data wrangling and reports with this transcript, which we can get AI to really help us and streamline our workflow. So that is using Stream, or I think the platform's changed now slightly to what's called, depending on what you've got access to, it is now called Clipchamp. There we go. So now I'm going to go into our enterprise version, which is called Echo 360. So it's Echo Video. Just going to log into there. So this is our preferred method of storing videos. We could go, and here we are in our environment. We go upload media, select, and there it is. And then we can upload the media. And then now the beautiful thing about Echo 360, it does have the ability to add transcripts, but it does it automatically. But that takes a little bit of time, and I've got to just be patient and wait. And of course, it doesn't always display the video straight away. It actually needs to process before it can be rendered, and you can see, and then you have a variety of different ways of publishing and sharing it with people. So that is it when it comes to, now we've got our videos, so we're now set and we've got our transcripts ready. Just going to see the transcript here. Hello and welcome to this video. Oh, it's the wrong one. Go back. Not sure. It was 3 hours ago. I must have. So here's my video, and there's the transcript. Just going to refresh that page to make sure it's rendered properly. Welcome to this learning. And I go into video, transcript, and now I can download. And now I have a beautiful Word document, all time-stamped of when I said things, only 6 minutes, but it's enough information to give me a really useful report, and I'm going to get. So thank you.